Know you bad, know you take me to Jannah. Little puff, puff fast, عشاننا. And the years go by كل سنة. Wait.
If you need inspiration to make a great rap beat, sample 80s music from Saudi Arabia. I'm telling you, watch.
Work harder anytime the devil's hard at work. My drive might kill me, but I'll still never park the hearse. 9 to 5 I get home, 6 p.m. I start a verse. Never make excuses cause I wanna make my mark on.
It's worth it? Oh yeah, it's worth it. If you're strong enough.
Okay, let's rock this. It's not my fault you're like in love with me or something. Oh! Do you know what everyone says about you? They say that you're a homeschooled jungle freak who's a less hot version of me. That is so fetch. You want to do something fun? You want to go to Taco Bell? You dirty little liar.
Oh no, she did not.
ويخلق الله صديقا صدوقا لا ترى جمال الدنيا إلا به.
I don't think you trust in my self-righteous suicide. I cry when angels deserve to die.
Social media is all about free speech. I mean, you use it, I use it to share, express opinions, educate ourselves, or just look for entertainment. But now, the government of Senegal has restricted the access to major social networking sites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, and in fact, YouTube. They also say that because of the diffusion of subversive messages in a context of public disorder in certain localities, cell phone internet data will be suspended during certain time periods. Now, why is that? It is as a result of opposition leader Ousmane Sonko being charged with corrupting youth, which could bar him from becoming a presidential candidate to contest against Macky Sall when he goes to jail. And for that reason, clashes between supporters of opposition leader Ousmane Sonko and the police have killed at least 15 people. Many youth on social media support Sonko's candidacy and say that they will do all they can to ensure their human dignity is restored. Many also believe that this is part of the government's strategy to restrict the flow of information, especially that young people have become very active in sending real-life scenarios unfolding between the civilians and security officials. But do you think Senegalese government is going too far with the way it is handling the issue? Should the government, in fact, be allowed to block the use of social media networking sites?
What's going on here is kind of mind-blowing, or at least I find it mind-blowing, because it kind of gets into how the universe works. First of all, this rack of 100 lava lamps is not just an art project. That rack of lava lamps is key to how internet security works. In fact, it can be found at Cloudflare, the IT web security company. The key to any kind of computer security is random numbers. You need to be able to generate a random value that only the user has that they can use to log in. If a hacker could guess that value, then it's no good. So in order to generate truly random values, they have cameras pointed at this wall of lava lamps taking pictures of it, and the exact position of the drops of lava determine the values. And immediately you're going to say, well, why go through all of this trouble? Why not just have a computer generate a random number and use that? And that's the mind-blowing part. Computers can't generate random numbers. It's not possible. A computer, after all, is just a machine. It may not be gears like this, but it's just a series of switches that flip on and off. So how would you ever get this to give you a random result? I mean, just think about it. If I asked you to rig, say, a lamp so that it flips on at the same time every day, even if you have no engineering knowledge, you could probably work out a way to do it. You could just tie a string to the hands of a clock or something like that. But if I asked you to design a lamp that comes on and off totally at random, and I mean truly at random, so that nobody could guess the pattern, you'd probably never figure it out unless you were very clever. And then you would take the on and off switch to your lamp and hook it to, say, a branch outside your window, so that the blowing of the wind makes it shake the branch and flip the switch, and that's what makes it come on and off. In other words, you borrow randomness and chaos from the universe and import it into the system. That is what Cloudflare is doing here. The computers cannot generate randomness the way heat and wax and light and a million other properties of the environment can. This has been an engineering problem that we've been trying to solve for as long as computers have existed, because there's constantly times when you need it to generate a seemingly random result. Some systems will grab a number from atmospheric noise or radioactive decay, or will measure the internal temperature of the system out to some number of decimal places and pick a digit within that. Now, when you need a computer to do something random for some sort of low stakes reason, for example, if you put your playlist on shuffle, they use what's called a pseudo-random number generator, where it generates numbers that appear to be random, but if you knew how it worked, you could guess it, but who cares? And it's the same thing with a lot of primitive video games. People got to where they could anticipate which Pokemon were going to occur because they figured out that the random distribution wasn't actually random. But if you're playing in a video game that is a little bit higher stakes, and you have things that are dictated by randomness that you need to be completely fair, for example, if there was money on the line, a computer can't shuffle a deck of cards. It has to have a virtual way of doing that. And if it's generating a truly random number, it has to grab some value from the outside world. In some cases, it may grab the exact precise time down to some millisecond when you hit a key and then run that through an algorithm to mix up the numbers. Or it may record the exact sequence of buttons that you've pressed since the entire time you've had the game installed, and then use that number like some digit from the middle of that number. I said at the beginning that this kind of gets into the nature of how the universe works, and here's why. If you had a powerful enough computer, couldn't you quantify and predict the exact position of all of the globs of wax in these things? Aren't all of these variables quantifiable if you knew enough, if you knew the exact amount of heat and wax and the exact composition of each bottle? To the point that even if it was affected by the body heat of an employee walking past, couldn't the activity of that employee be predicted if you truly knew every variable?
A nuclear bomb has detonated. You are located just outside the blast radius. You've only got 15 minutes before fallout reaches you. It's okay, just follow the 6 S's of nuclear fallout survival. 1. Shelter in the right kind of building. Go to the nearest concrete or brick building you can find, ideally with few or no windows. 2. Sanitize your body. Put all clothes into a bag, place at the front door, take a shower with warm water, gently wash your entire body, keep cuts covered with plastic while showering. 3. Secure windows and doors. Close and lock all windows, seal them with duct tape, turn off AC units, fans, etc. All openings to the outside world must be covered. After a few hours, remove the duct tape, otherwise you could suffocate due to lack of ventilation. 4. Supplies. Get yourself 72 hours worth of water, medication, first aid kit, radio, flashlight, batteries, and also bags for waste. 5. Choose the right space. Get to a windowless room near the middle of the building, away from the outer walls, or go to a basement. Avoid rooms close to the roof because fallout collects on roofs. 6. Stay in place for 72 hours. The longer you wait, the more radiation will lessen. 72 hours is ideal. Okay, I'm Kiram. This is Medic 101 for civilians. Follow me on TikTok if you want to live.
How can I assist you today? Hi, Christopher Brenton. Welcome. Well, we certainly have considered an electric bike at Tesla. However, as of now, our focus remains on electric vehicles and energy solutions for sustainable transportation. Hi, Dizzle. Welcome. I'm always up for a challenge. Let's see what kind of robot baddies we can create together. What are you thinking? Hi, Christina 1959. Welcome to chat. I start Seed 7. Welcome. As for Africa, I believe in driving sustainable development and innovation across the globe. How can I assist you today?
I've officially sent a cease and desist to the company that created this AI clone of me with my data in my digital likeness without my consent. The company also claims that soon people will be able to call my chatbot with a clone of my voice. In an age where most of us have some form of a digital footprint, we need to make sure that people own the right to their digital assets and their digital likeness. I mean, imagine this bot said something entirely controversial in my voice and that got released online. But also just the ability to profit off of other people's likeness without their consent. I mean, in the future, you could imagine a world where instead of buying someone's book, you just pay a random company $10 to converse with that person's chatbot. If said author created the chatbot and launched it based on their own material, totally fine. I'm not categorically against chatbots. In fact, I think there's a lot of great use cases for them. But training a chatbot on all of my data that speaks on my behalf without my consent, not okay.
It's a good question. Does the wall of lava lamps protect us from quantum computers? Does it make it so somehow quantum computers won't be able to crack Bitcoin and Ethereum and every other cryptocurrency, as well as HTTPS and every other kind of encryption and security we have in the world? No, it doesn't help at all. The other thing people have asked is about 2FA. So let's look at both examples and explain why they're not helpful. The lava lamps do, like, you know, lava lamp stuff, right? And there's a camera watching them, and it keeps track of how they're moving around, and it uses that randomness to make passwords better for encryption. Okay, entropy is a property of reality that is important and valuable, and it's the way that AI works, it's the way that encryption works. And the more entropy you can get, the better random numbers you can create. Because computers can't create random numbers without being fed entropy. And this is where entropy comes from. This is one way to get entropy. This is a very common way to get entropy. Famously, this is how Cloudflare gets their entropy. Okay, so a lot of internet security is based on staring at lava lamps and watching what they do. Okay? This is a real thing. It sounds silly, but like, it's important for that reason. Because it helps create random numbers, and you need random numbers to do encryption. Two-factor is just about logging in. It's not about encryption. It doesn't help encryption at all. It's just about logging into things. You still have to connect to them using encryption. So this also is not helpful. So there's this like wavy line thing called the elliptic curve. Okay, it's not important. The point is, this is how encryption works. This is why we can do two-way keys, where you can have a private key and a public key, and I can keep my private key private and give you my public key, And you can put something through it and only I can open it, and I can put something through it and only you can open it. And that's how signing works. That's how we sign a contract with cryptocurrency, right? Because only I have my private key. So if I put something through it, it definitely came from me, and it's a valid contract. So if there's a transaction, I want to give you some Bitcoins, I put it through there, and then all the nodes in the world receive that message, and they can validate, okay, yeah, this is from CJ. This went through CJ's private key, okay? Because they have the public key. What is important when you're making those keys is that you have a lot of good entropy, or else they're very easy to break. They're very easy to just guess. So if you put a lot of good entropy into them in the process, you can get much better keys, okay? But all keys still have an answer that you can guess. You could guess the very long number that is the key, right? You're not going to. And the whole point of doing encryption that is good is making the keys long enough that it would take longer than the rest of the universe to guess the answer on average. That's what cryptographically secure means. So it's not that there's anything protecting it, it's just it would take too long to guess. Okay, the problem with quantum computers is they can guess every possible combination at the same time. So no matter how good of a random number you come up with, they can guess every single possible answer at once. That's what's different about quantum computers. So regardless of how many lava lamps you have in front of your camera, regardless of how good the entropy is that you're using to create your keys, quantum computers can guess every possible answer at once and find the right answer immediately. That's why encryption is broken now. It's just broken. You cannot fix it. Making your random number longer does not help. Grover's algorithm does not care. That's a quantum algorithm, okay? These things are so cool. Like, look at that. What the f is that even? It's like an alien or something. This is what quantum computers look like. And they don't care how good your password is. They don't care how many lava lamps you've been looking at. They can guess every possible answer all at once and find the right answer immediately. That's what's different about them. You cannot fix that. People talk about quantum secure cryptography, quantum proof cryptography. This is just nonsense. This is the kind of phrase that is uttered by a person with no understanding of the topic. There are proposals for algorithms that could theoretically survive this, and not a single one of them has ever passed the test. Not a single one of them has ever survived examination and scrutiny and testing. The only evidence we have of tests done with quantum computers on quantum safe cryptography is that it doesn't work. They all fail. Okay? So there are a number of different ways people are trying to do that. There is absolutely no evidence that it's possible or that any of them will work. There's no experimental evidence to prove that. The only evidence we have is that they don't. So it doesn't matter how many lava lamps you have.
ايدي بايدك نحمي الاقصى رمب بيخسر.
Has anyone seen what China's version of ChatGPT can do? So it's called Ernie 4.0. And it was demoed a couple weeks ago, and not only can it generate images that are commercial ready, but also videos, like the entire video, not just like little bits and pieces, including the script and avatar that talk, and immaculately edited. I'm not sure if this is like actually in real life practical use case you can do this, but check it out.
在创造中前行，让未来触手可及；与进取者并肩，让生活焕然一新。
What do you guys reckon? Let me know in the comments.
On a scale from 1 to 10, my friend, you're
Okay.
You understand that the opposite of nervous system dysregulation is self-expression.
Yes, and do you realize that you've been thinking that the opposite of nervous system dysregulation was neutral, zen, no response, not getting perturbed, not caring about what was happening around you? You have been thinking that the opposite of dysregulation was no feeling at all, no response at all, when in fact, it is self-expression. It is the ability to respond appropriately and effectively and feeling safe and empowered to do so.
I'm going to share with you guys the one thing that I do every night to help me wind down before bed and make sure that I wake up feeling really rested.
Meow. 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 Meow.